All right, good morning, Chicago. Good morning, Unity. We are spiritual warriors for getting here. All right, come on. Let's heat this place up. Woo! Because this is the day the Lord has made. This is the day.
This is the day
that the Lord has made.
That the Lord has made.
This is the day.
This is the day
that the Lord has made.
That the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
This is the day.
This is the day that the Lord has made.
All right, let's do it again.
Here we go.
This is the day.
This is the day
that the Lord has made.
That the Lord has made.
This is the day.
This is the day
that the Lord has made.
That the Lord has made. This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
This is the day.
This is the day that the Lord has made.
That was good. How about one more? Let's do it. This is the day.
This is the day
that the Lord has made.
That the Lord has made.
This is the day.
This is the day
that the Lord has made.
That the Lord has made.
All right.
This is the day that the Lord has made. I will rejoice and be glad in it.
This is the day.
This is the day that the Lord has made.
This is the day.
This is the day that the Lord has made.
Woo! Good morning.
Thank you. Good morning, all you hearty souls. We've moved this. Is this okay over here? Anyway, it's much brighter over here. Good to see all of you. I'm assuming that the folks that aren't here because of the weather. They're not here because they're like making nachos or something for some sporting event. With the long ball. I know that one. Okay. It's really good to see all of you, and we affirm that those that are on their way make it safely and that they are warm. We know that each of us brings something important to our community, and your presence is an important part of our service today, and we're grateful again for each of you to join us. Each Sunday we come together to celebrate our oneness with each other and with God. In unity we welcome people of every culture, lifestyle, race, creed. However you got here, we're glad you're here. We give thanks for the presence of God and Spirit within each of us and the expression of joy and love and truth in our lives. As we do every Sunday, we're going to join thousands of people around the world reading today's daily word. And today's daily word is forgive. I forgive and begin anew. An artist can seamlessly craft an erroneous brushstroke into a new, beautiful part of a painting. The canvas is forgiving, thus turning an apparent mistake into a fresh aspect. With forgiveness, I can turn seeming failures into opportunities to grow. To transform a painful event into a new and positive experience, I let go of attachment to what happened or what should have been. By releasing past hurts, I open myself to beautiful opportunities. When I forgive, I give way for the new to emerge in the canvas of my life. I can paint new experiences. I feel energized and embrace unlimited possibilities. As I forgive and move forward, I create my life as I want it to be. And from Ephesians we read, be kind to one another, tender-hearted, forgiving one another, as God in Christ has forgiven you. And just as a reminder, we may not really need it, but just as a reminder, to support the energy of our spiritual and transformative time together, let's make sure that we turn off all little cell phones, iPads, other devices that might interrupt us in any way, shape, or form. And if you do need to make sure that you have that on for any reason, if you could step into the Sunshine Gallery, you'll still be able to enjoy the service, and you'll allow others to enjoy it as well. So thank you for that support. And now Reverend Heidi has a few updates for us.
Thank you. The Peter Polzak Trio, which always makes your stroll in life seem more important. So thank you, thank you. And welcome to Unity in Chicago, our home on Thome and our Center for Love, Light, and Laughter. And this is the group with chutzpah. Yes, yes. Wow, I mean, y'all are committed to your spiritual path 100%. You know, it's fascinating to me that our chapter today in the Game of Life talks about the law of forgiveness, and our daily word is about forgive, and very few people show up. You know, that forgiveness thing is just kind of tricky. But so we want to welcome our online group, you in your bunny slippers and your house robe, and we're glad you're at home. And don't worry, we'll be talking to you all day today. Anyway, gosh, it's really good to be here and be warm together, and how beautiful. All right, just a number of things, because here at Unity in Chicago, we are a spiritual center that's going on 7 days a week. And one of the things that we're starting today, in fact, is we're going to be part of the 64 days of the season of peace and nonviolence. And it runs from January 30th to April the 4th. It commemorates the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Gandhi, and our two leaders in peace and nonviolence. So I wanted to also I'm going to read what I wrote here in the bulletin so we can just make sure that we understand, you know, that there's sort of no way to peace, that peace is the way. So it's what we want to develop within ourselves. And we say here at Unity in Chicago, we honor diversity of backgrounds, religions, and personal views of life. We look for our similarities rather than our differences. And in that vein, we're participating in the 64 days of the season of peace and nonviolence starting January the 30th through April the 4th. These days commemorate the assassinations of Martin Luther King Jr. and Gandhi. Other nonviolent leaders celebrated in this season are the Dalai Lama and Nelson Mandela, to name a few. We will post inspirational quotes daily on our Facebook page as we practice understanding that there's no way to peace, that peace is the way. And so that will be on our Facebook page. And I want to thank Christy Curry, because we know she's going to be our Facebook poster. And her son, Andrew, is here visiting. She had her last son. They're all coming. So stand up, Andrew. Welcome, Kansas City boy. That's it. So say hi to Andrew. Like Christy says, he's the extrovert. The introvert was here the last time, and she said he was overwhelmed by Unity in Chicago. Everybody said hello to him. He was like, oh, my gosh. So this is the one we'll be posting today. If you think you're too small to make a difference, try sleeping with a mosquito. All right? So you're not too small to make a difference by any means. It's all of us just showing up for the love, light, and laughter that you are. We're continuing on our book, the Game of Life and how to play it. Today we're doing chapter 5 and 6. The class is on Thursday night. You're welcome to just drop in. And we're practicing, you know, how to shift from this sense of negative, life against us, life like a battle, to life being a game and full of possibility and full of just this way of it feeling fun. I must admit, it was very interesting driving to church this morning. But seriously, nobody honked. Everybody was so kind. Come on over. And I recognize that it's really about our focus. You know, where's our focus? Everybody was very focused on their driving and their kindness. And I thought, you know, I don't want to affirm this for every day, but it was very pleasant driving to work, driving to church. So the idea, we have these books available. We keep selling out of them, so we have 10 more. And we'd love for you to be able to follow along with us every week. So we're in 5 and 6, come to Thursday night. We're finishing on February 15th, and then we're going to have a game night. Woo! On Thursday night, the last Thursday of February. Everybody can bring your games, and we're going to have game night, right? Okay. We were so blessed to have Don Jose Ruiz with us Friday night. I don't know who came, but y'all want to raise your hands? Wasn't it phenomenal? I mean, truly, this man, allows himself to be a vessel of love. It was weird. He got in my car, and he looked over at me, and I'm like, okay, I cannot even hold on to anything negative being around this person. And it's fascinating to see how we can vibrate at that level if we allow ourselves to. And he came with a big message that you are the love of your life. And if we come from that place, there's really nothing outside of us that can penetrate that. But we really have to practice that. So just in that essence, let's put our hand on our heart right now and breathe in. And let's say, I am the love of my life. I am the love of my life. And breathe in. And if you drove through the snow, it was worth that. I am the love of my life. He wrote a book called My Good Friend the Rattlesnake, and we have some more available if you'd like to purchase this book. And then he and his father co-wrote The Fifth Agreement, and we have some more of those books. And this Fifth Agreement is about being skeptical of that mind that tells you something's wrong with you or somebody's against you. It's beautiful, beautiful books. We are going to have a day to be with that love of your life, and that's going to be our silent day. That's this Saturday. And I'd invite you to know you can come for a half a day. We sit for 45 minutes. We walk for 45 minutes. We sit for 45 minutes. We walk for 45 minutes. We have lunch in the silence. And if you want to come for an hour, if it feels like, gosh, that's really scary and I don't want to do that, you are the one that needs to come. And it's great to practice this idea of being with yourself. And I don't think there's ever a silent retreat that one goes, I can't wait to get there. Because the relationship with yourself is the one that needs the time and the energy. So this Saturday, 10 to 5, bring your lunch, come by 9:45, and you just be. It's just the practice of being, turning off your phone, and practice how much you want to turn it back on. And it's a great, great, great time. It's one of my favorite experiences we have brought here too. And then at 4 o'clock, we stop and we share our experiences. We are now, I know that often when you're looking for a chiropractor, massage therapist, a plumber, you may think, gosh, I wish there was a spiritual, like a unity, like-minded person that I could talk to, because then I could, visit with this person. And it may flow a little easier. So we are going to, next week, we're creating our first online business directory. Yes, and so Dan Paterno is really involved with it, and he'll be here next week. And so there's a teaser, as we're saying, in your bulletin. You can look at it and come back next week. And also, it's really great for if you've thought, I want to start a dog walking business, or I want to start take care of somebody's plant because they keep killing their plants business, or I don't know. But, put your idea out there and see how it manifests, all right? So we're going to start that next week. So now we're going to light our candle. We ask you to take off the cloak of the world and put on this sweater of spirit. Yes, all right. So we're going to say together, I am the light of the world. I am the light of the world. And look at your neighbor and say, you are the light of the world. Annette, you're the light of the world. Yes. Thank you. We are the light of the world. Fantastic. And we know you're the light because you were born, and we do this at the first, do you like your section over there, Kelly? Yes, okay. Look at little Kelly's warming up that section. That if you were born in the month of November, the month of February, we have a birthday flower for you. So if you please stand, we want to sing to you. So, and we may have to do this next week too. Okay, very nice. Birthdays, all right. And we're going to say loved ones in the place of their names, all right? Okay, here we go. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear loved ones. Happy birthday to you. Oh my gosh, look at these guys. Yay, I'm so glad you're born and glad you're with us. And so in that light and celebration of birth, let's all stand and say, my life is super because you're in it. All right, the Super Bowl, y'all. That's good, good, good. See all that greetings just like there's 300 people here. I love it. Okay, so our affirmation, because today is Super Bowl and we're going to use it as engaging your super conscious. All right? So we're going to say your affirmation is, my super conscience creates my super life. I'm always a winner. All right? Together? My super conscience creates my super life. I am always a winner. Go team. Yes, all right. Well, we're so grateful that you three are part of our team. And Nancy Erickson is now joining us today. So let's welcome Nancy. Oh, there she is.
It's my comedy routine. What if you knew that you were beautiful? What if your smile was wild and free? What if you knew that you could take your time and everything would work out fine? What a wonderful, wonderful world this could be. What if every step of the journey was just as sweet as the final prize? What if you lost the map but you found the key? What if your life was so much fun you didn't need to try to get it all done? What a wonderful, wonderful world this could be. So give it a season without a doubt. Give it a reason to all work out. Give it a chance, give it some time, give it your best. Give it a rest. What if the great big picture suddenly dawned on everybody bright and clear? What if we give ourselves a break and let our differences be? Could we just sit still a minute, enjoy the human race and not have to win it? What a wonderful, wonderful world this could be. What a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful world this could be. Yeah, 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 yeah. What a magnificent point of view, here in the middle of I love you. So delicious and simple and brief, what a relief. What if every step of the journey was just as sweet as the final prize? What if you lost the map but you found the key? Just give life a something fun, we wouldn't try to get it all done. What a wonderful, wonderful world this could be. What a wonderful, wonderful world. What a wonderful, wonderful world. What a wonderful, wonderful world this could be.
So the game of life and how to play it. You know, I wonder if as we're going through these chapters and reading about Florence and her ideas of the game of life, I hope life's feeling a little more fun. It's feeling less like a battle, that perhaps things feel like they're flowing more, that this idea of life against me is becoming less true and life is for me, and how am I allowing that to be the way it is. Super Bowl is today, and I'm liking tying it in with our 3 levels of mind. One of them is our super consciousness. And so why don't we pull those? Oh, wow. I am manifesting. All right. So Flo tells us that the reason we have challenges is very much what Don Jose was telling us on Friday night. He says there's 2 ways of thinking, negative and positive. And it's so simple. He said, you know, it was such a challenge. His dad wrote the 4 agreements, and he, you know, when your parent does something, you're like, oh, that's just stupid, right? Or you know, when you're a kid, right? Because there's that time where you have to separate from your parents, and so what your parents are doing is just not, you know, what you believe is true. And so he always said, oh, these things are so simple. And then he said he started to practice them. And then he went to his father and he said, this is complicated. This isn't simple. He says, no. His dad said, no, they're simple. You're complicated. and this is what happens. Our subconscious is what Flo calls really like electricity. And it's flowing all the time, but if we don't know how to use it, you know, electricity can be something, no, this is great, but if we don't know how to use it, it can kill you. Right? So we want to know what we're impressing on our subconscious, and then conscious is our carnal mind. It's the mind of what's right, what's wrong, what's good, what's bad, and that's usually what we use to imprint the subconscious. But there's a greater consciousness that I know we've all experienced by coming into unity, and that's the God mind. That's the superconscious. And so in our world of recognizing that we are always playing a Super Bowl, meaning a super game, that is always available to us, and often because we haven't practiced it very much, we don't use it. It's just become a muscle that hasn't been used. And so but I find in this life, and Don Jose was the first one to say it, you know, he got involved with drugs and alcohol. And, you know, you'd think with a father like Don Miguel Ruiz, you'd be above all that. But not at all. And in fact, he, you know, found that he was really addicted to suffering. And so he was always pushing away from the light, this idea, these 4 agreements. And one day all of his friends went out. He, you know, his sort of the drug group that he was hanging around with went out. And he decided not to go, and his father said, come with us, come on this family trip, and he didn't want to, but his father says, I'm the parent and you need to come. And he was young enough that he needed to go. And so his friends went on this trip, and when he returned from he said he didn't enjoy the family trip because he chose not to. And then he came back to the home that evening, and he found out one of his friends had been killed that had gone on this trip. They'd had a accident because of the drugs. And he recognized that his life had been saved, not from his way of doing things, because he would have been in that car, but because there was something that he engaged with his superconscious, even though he was fighting it. And he recognized, I really do want to study with my father. I want to study these things. So we come together really to save ourselves sort of from ourselves. You know, we come into this community to say, maybe there's a bigger picture. You know, maybe I'm not here just to struggle and toil, that I'm really here to sort of see the big picture, to sort of see the beauty in what can feel like a battle or a sense of frustration. So, you know, our good friend Flo has a few things to say about this. And if you've noticed, Don Jose was saying the same thing that Jesus says, that Flo says. So that's good, because I don't want to like have one truth over here and another truth over here, and oh gosh, that person has another truth over there. So it's great that the truth sets us free, and it's all really the same thing, but we all get to practice it in so many different ways because we're all We're all different, but we're all the same. So her chapters this week are the law of karma and the law of forgiveness, and then she talks about casting the burden of this old way of living. So let's just look at what she talks about with old consciousness. I feel like a little bit like a librarian, but somebody gave me these little beads, so yeah. All right. So the superconscious mind is the God mind within each man and is the realm of perfect ideas, and women are included in this. It is, in it, the perfect plan spoke of by Plato, the divine design, for there is divine design in each person. There is a place that you are to fill, and no one else can fill. Something you are to do, which no one else can do. So there's an affirmation. Let's practice this. There is a place that that I am to fill. There is a place that I am to fill. Together? There is a place that I am to fill, and no one else can fill. Something I am to do, which no one else can do. And so let's breathe into this. It's pretty profound, because we kind of want to glob on to other people's opinions of us rather than there's something I'm to do that no one else can do. You're calling pig races, right? I mean, who can do these things, right? I mean, Jeff comes in like, I call pig races. I'm like, that's profound, right? I mean, I love it. That's great. There is a perfect picture of this in the perfect conscious mind. It usually flashes across the conscience as an unattainable ideal, something that's too good to be true. Have you all ever had something in your life that you go, oh, that's just too good to be true? Yeah, it's too easy. Some person comes up and is really, really nice to you, and you're having a feeling of not feeling very good about yourself that day, and you kind of push them away. Don't compliment me. I'm having a really good bad mood right now. And it's like, I got to shake this thing off. And it's strange. In fact, I've found myself kind of, getting, it's an uncomfortable feeling. People just go, Heidi, I just love you just the way you are. It's like, I guess I have to love me just the way I am, right? It's an interesting experience, this spiritual path, because there's nothing happening to us that isn't happening within us. So I'll talk about that in a minute because I find that so sort of like the key of awakening. And the key of awakening is this law of karma. And karma, I think it can be used to sort of beat ourselves up. But karma is a fascinating experience because when we say things like, like the golden rule, treat people like you want to be treated, you wouldn't even know what that meant unless karma was in action, unless you could experience what it is that other people experience. So karma means, as Flo tells us, it means come back. It means like life's like a boomerang. So what you put out comes back. And the more that you're aware of it, the more the good comes back quicker. And often I think the things that when you're not telling yourself the truth about yourself, that comes back quicker too. I had a experience in when I was, as you all know, I flew for Pan Am. I was a flight attendant from 89 to 92, and your exit doors are here. Had to do that on Wednesday night. And one day I was laying over in New York City, and it was a hotel, and I went up to cash a check with the front desk gal, and there was lots of people. We're in New York, really busy. And so I wrote the check, and she gave me the money, and I turned around and I walked off and I started counting the money, and she'd given me an extra $100 bill. And flight attendants don't make much money. And I had this moment. And then I felt that sense of what we feel when we're talking about the superconscious. It was like, who am I hiding from? Like is the universe kind of like gone to sleep for a minute? And who am I benefiting if I lie to myself? So I stood in line, and I went back up to the front, and I said, you gave me an extra $100 bill. And in that moment, she looked at me, and she said, nobody in New York does this. And I said, great. And then she said something else to me, and I told the story on Wednesday night, and I just really remembered it yesterday. She said, if you hadn't have done that, my till would have been short, and I probably would have lost my job. And I thought, wow, this came back so fast. This feeling of it, is getting the chills thinking about it, of connection to something bigger than lack and hoarding, and I don't get paid enough as a flight attendant, or whatever my story was, And to come back in and say, this is why karma exists, is that we can so quickly understand how important it is for us to stay on the high beam, for us to stay in our high mind, because the person that wins every time is you. This is the Super Bowl of your own life. And I recognize that life, lying, not telling the truth was, I think when we're young, we hear from our parents, don't lie to me, don't lie to your parents. And then you get this thing of, don't lie to God, although God thinks you're a sinner, but, good luck with that. And so, feel good about God, but you're a sinner, and, and then, don't lie to your parent, don't lie to your teachers, don't lie to your friends. So lying, not telling the truth was sort of about somebody else. I shouldn't lie to you. But, I recognized, certainly in my life as I matured spiritually, when I found the 12-step program, on that coin on the back, it says Shakespeare's line, to thine own self be true. So then it was sort of, it's to myself that I want to be true. It's to myself that I want to love. I am the love of my life. And that is how we're free. I'm not free because you like me, or you think I've got this honesty thing going on. I have to know. In fact, when people compliment us for something that we don't believe, it just feels so weird. And we're not really looking just at cash register honesty. We're really looking at this honesty that is, I want to be free. And I keep myself in a jail if I'm not using my super conscious mind. And so life will give you many opportunities to practice. Oh my gosh. We call them, I got another opportunity to heal. I have another opportunity to heal. And some people put some other words before that opportunity to heal, but I'm not going there. So another opportunity to heal. So let us see here about this idea. Oh yes. Okay. So Flo talks about this idea of karma. And she talks about somebody with this Thanksgiving story, and how quickly karma can work on different levels also. She says, a woman told me on Thanksgiving Day she informed her family that they could not afford Thanksgiving dinner. She had the money, but decided to save it. A few days later, someone entered her room and took from the bureau drawer the exact amount the dinner would have cost. The law always stands at the back of man who spins fearlessly with wisdom. So our idea, we talk about this in prosperity all the time, that this idea of lack and of feeling like, what was happening for me in that instant, I was thinking about keeping that $100, was my own sense of not being well. And so generosity is our natural state of being. And so we can practice that rather than we look at all the times we say, I can't afford, I can't do this, and the way that, we negate our own experiences. And so instead of saying, I can't afford, what we talk about in prosperity when you look at super consciousness is I am open to this happening. I'm not sure how it's going to happen. My bank account looks like this. Whatever it is, but do you see that there's movement in that rather than I can't afford it? It's not going to happen. And then I find the universe really wants to remind you that that's not true. So something else will happen to prove to you, just like Flo's telling us. Okay, so I have 4 things that I came up with that I can see how we can work with this law of karma, and then the other law of forgiveness that is really even above the law of karma that we'll talk about. So you got to start where you are. You got to be willing to change. We practice new skills, and we pay attention to the results. All right? So the thing about starting where you are is, I don't know about you all, but in my days before I was so awakened, like the rest of us, I would say things when people ask me, how are you? Sometimes I'd go, I'm fine, everything's great. And, fine can be, fearful, insecure, neurotic, and erratic, right? So we want to really be honest. This isn't about, oh, I feel great when I don't, but it is this idea of being honest about how you feel, and I like laughter. You know, I'm feeling sad today, and if you know, kind of on the other side of sad, you know, gets to be happy. But if we pretend we don't feel something, then we get stuck. So one of you congregants, you guys send me the greatest stuff. So somebody sent me this, and it made me laugh, and I wonder if you can relate to this. Even when you're trying to do your spiritual practice, your mind may go somewhere else, okay? So we'll show this. We may lower the lights for just a minute. It's called Blue Yoga.
Come on up, stretch your arms way out, stretch way out, right hand coming to rest on that right leg, left arm up. And if you feel a little bit off today, it's because it's Blue Monday, the saddest day of the year. That's okay. If a thought creeps in, like maybe you're thinking, why am I paying $190 a month for cable when the only thing I watch is Say Yes to the Dress? But you can't let it go because What Not to Wear might come back. Come on up. Go to the other side. Inhale like you just got your holiday credit card bill. Just don't hold on to that thought, you know. Maybe it was a bit stupid to buy a $800 Vitamix just because Sheila says she's all about her smoothie diet. Well, guess what? Almond milk, bananas, and peanut butter is not a smoothie, Sheila. It's a milkshake. And it's not bringing any boys to your yard. Just let that bitch go. Come on up. Just let that go like you let go of your New Year's resolution when you ate that pound of baking chocolate right out of the bin at the bulk barn. Come on, just fall forward and let that all fall down, like the dollar and the housing prices and the price of gas. And don't think about the fact that people are already buying bigger cars because they're so brain dead. They think that gas is cheap and now it's somehow better for the earth. Let that go too. Come on down into Cobra. Just feel that weight on your shoulders. Feel it on your back like those 3 security guards at the Scotiabank Theater who seem to think you should not have a problem with ads before movies telling you to buy cars and carcinogenic popcorn. Why don't you come on up into child's pose? You know what? Why don't you go on over, roll on, go ahead, roll on over into fetal pose. And if you want to suck your thumb while you're curled up there, just rocking gently, it's completely natural and no reason to get kicked off the bus. Okay, acknowledge that and just let it go. Come on, just let that go. Breathing out, let it go. You know, we're going to end up the class today with everybody gathering around me and hugging me and saying, shh, it's all right. Hugging me, letting go. It's all right, shh, and shh. And let's hold this pose. That's right. Hold this pose until spring.
Oh, that's good job. Okay. Okay. So did you get a little laugh? All right. Okay. Because I can tell you when you start this, and this is where I think people get so stuck, it's like my mind's just going off. And it's okay. It's okay. We've got to be able to see what's going on. We've got to start where we are. And I love this gal, you know. You broke your New Year's resolution, and I was doing yoga yesterday, and it's amazing how we get assailed with these ideas, and then we just have to laugh about it and be willing to have a new thought. So our thing is that we want to see where we are, and then we want to be willing to change, be willing to change. So my question to you all, if it's a yes, you can answer yes. Are you willing to change? Yes. And one more time, are you willing to change? Yes. Are you willing to change? Yes. All right, great, thank you, because that's what it takes. It's all it takes is a willingness. You know, in the 12-step program, again, it says, you know, be willing to make this shift. And so all we have to do is to be willing for a change to happen. Don Ruiz talked about this rattlesnake, and in nature, the idea of shedding a skin. You know, of the natural process of shedding skin. There was a fable about when humankind began, that after God was finished creating all of the things like all of us that are, you know, in the image and likeness of God and all of life, that there was a fable about the willingness to shed one's skin could allow you to have immortality. And there was a woman that later in her life decided to shed her skin and went down to the river and shed her skin and noticed it floating down the river, and then it got caught on a branch. And she came out of the river and she went back into her family, and her daughter saw her in this newness and didn't like it and wanted her to be the way she was and was very upset and angry. And so because of her own guilt, she went back to the river and she put back on her skin, and she was immortal again. And I was wanting to I heard this fable a while ago, and I could really relate to it. And then yesterday, or 2 days ago, a lady called me from Kansas City that I knew when I lived there. And she'd had this story of not being a good parent. You know, she had had a tumultuous marriage and had 2 kids and was doing the best she could do, but had this story of I wasn't a good parent, and I feel so guilty that I know my kids had a really tough time growing up, and I feel really bad about it. And she told me this story a number of times. So she had talked to her kids. I want you to tell me how bad your childhood was. When you get ready to tell me, she came into Unity, and then she wanted to have this open kind of conversation with her kids. And I want you to tell me if you're ever upset or something happened in your childhood. And so finally her daughter in her upper 20s told her how horrible her childhood was. And she calls me yesterday going, see, all my fears were true. I was a horrible parent. And I'm like, okay, so how are you feeling? She goes, I feel horrible. I feel guilty. And I said, all right, so tell me, what is a good parent? And she said, well, a good parent is a person whose children like themselves, and they get good educations, and they marry people they love, and they have jobs they love, and they feel really good about themselves. And I'm listening to this, and I said, okay. I said, whose kids are these? I said, they're God's kids. Cahill Gibran says, they come from you, but they are not yours. They're God's kids. And I said, and how was your childhood? And she said, not so great. And I said, so do you think your mom should feel guilty? I said, didn't she have a mom? Is there a perfect person on this planet? So maybe a good parent is really a happy person, or a person that is growing, a person that can have a conversation about, I am not in charge of you, your perfection. You're perfect. You've always been perfect. And maybe a conversation about, I wanted to be this kind of a parent. I would have loved to have done this differently, but I learned what I learned. And then I told her the story that I was just writing down, which is fascinating to me, how I'm writing this down, and here she calls with a story of a mother and a daughter. And she goes, I don't know who I am if I'm not always worrying about my kids. And I said, I know, but would you like to find out who that is? And she said, yeah. And I said, because what happened is you let this skin go, you're letting it go. That I want to be, my daughter's 20. I said, you two are 2 women that can have a conversation. And I have a feeling that's going to behoove her a lot more than you constantly asking her, tell me how horrible your childhood was. And perhaps that's not helping you either. But what you did is you went back to the river and you put on that experience of, this is who I am. I'm a worried, guilty mother. And I don't think that's your super conscience. I think that's the way that you felt like you needed to be. But even more interesting, I think it's the way you don't live your life, right? And so she said, gosh, who am I? I said, that's a great question, right? That's the question we want to ask ourselves is who am I if life truly is a game, if life truly is an adventure, if I'm really making this up? It can feel terrifying at times. It can feel so out of anything that you've ever experienced. It can feel so out of anything any parent told you, any teacher told you, certainly any priest told you, any rabbi told you. And so we come in here to say, can I strip off the skin of even yesterday? But it could be lifetimes. You know, Don Jose said that the reason he wrote this book was about the rattlesnake shedding his skin, because he said, boy, if I looked like the rattlesnake of my life before, I'd be this huge monster of a rattlesnake, because I never shed a skin. I never did anything differently. So if we're willing to make a change, what are some new skills we can bring into our life, and what is the skin that you want to shed? And I think that's really what's so interesting when we start playing this game is what is it? Because it's really fascinating to recognize that we can't see it. You know, we can't see it until somebody comes along and either, you know, sometimes you got a challenge that wakes you up. I mean, you know, Don Ruiz, it was somebody, you know, dying in his family. And I don't know what it is in your life, but it's not going to be the comfortable thing. It's not going to be the thing, because we wouldn't see we had anything to shed if it wasn't the comfortable thing. She talks about a story. This is, you know, some new skills is this woman, you know, it takes a lot of patience. Have you noticed that? Oof. A lot of patience with yourself, too, because reaction is certainly what my family was about. And how do we not get into reaction? She, you know, the way she writes is just so great. Says, one of my students asked me to explain the darkness before the dawn. I referred in a preceding chapter to the fact that often before the big demonstration, everything seems to go wrong. Have you noticed that? Sometimes right before you're going to have an awakening, things feel really heavy. And deep depression clouds the consciousness. It means that out of the subconscious are rising the doubts and fears of the ages. Because whether you know it or not, you're carrying the doubts and fears of generations of your family, perhaps other cultures, you know, what it means to be a woman, what it means to be a man. These old derelicts of the subconscious rise to the surface to be put out. It is then that man shall clap his cymbals like Jehoshaphat and give thanks that he is saved, even though he seems surrounded by the enemy, the lack or the disease. It says, I'll give you an example how necessary this step is. In fact, active faith is the bridge over which men passes to the promised land. Through misunderstanding, a woman had been separated from her husband, whom she deeply loved. He refused all offers of reconciliation and would not communicate with her in any way. Coming into the knowledge of spiritual law, she denied the appearance of separation. She made this statement, there is no separation in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot be separated from the love and companionship which are mine by divine right. Do we say that when we part with somebody? Y'all usually saying that? Okay. There is no separation in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot be separated from the love and companionship which are mine by divine right. She showed active faith by arranging a place for him at the table every day, thereby impressing the subconscious with a picture of his return. Over a year passed. Can you imagine? But she never wavered, and one day he walked in. Right? And you know, if it wasn't him, it was going to be somebody, that because she was holding that love. And it reminded me of this story. I moved to Italy in 1987. I took a position there. You know, I was so excited about Italy, I kind of spaced out on the thought that my Italian wasn't that good. You know, so I got all excited, and I got there, and I was learning Italian, but I had been 4 years in sobriety, and I really loved going to meetings. And so I went to some Italian-speaking meetings, and the energy was good. You know, they all smoked about a pack of cigarettes during the meeting, and it was kind of nuts. And I met this woman through the smoke in the meeting, and she spoke English, and she said there's a great English-speaking meeting in Milan. So I would take the train an hour and a half, like you guys, who knows how long it took you to get here to church, to go to my meeting, because I knew that I needed my English-speaking meeting. And I got there, and there was about 10 people that went to this meeting from all different parts of the world, and some Americans and some English-speaking folks. And so I would take the train, and the Italian that had started the meeting, I would stay at his home with his English wife, and it was really nice. But I wanted to hear his story. And he said, Heidi, I speak Italian and English, and I wanted to have an English-speaking meeting. And so I put the announcement in the international meeting guide, and then I sat there with my big book for 5 years by myself. I'm like, what? I mean, I need Underachievers Anonymous or something. I was like, huh? And he said, I knew that the people would come. And he would sit there with his big book and read for an hour, in Milan. And pretty soon, some, probably American person came bustling in there. And he said, and that's how it started. Just like he's telling me he went and got a cup of coffee or something. I'm like, wow. So how can we create? How can you hold the energy? This would be a new skill, for what it is you want. I know somebody just decided to go to Costa Rica, and they were, practicing their Spanish. And what is it that you want that you can create the space for, and start getting excited about it, and whatever it is that you can do to create that. I was sitting here with Don Jose, and I realized as I was sitting there, we have to start noticing the results. That one of the reasons I wanted to go into ministry, because when you go into ministry, they say, is there any other job you want to do? Make sure you want to do this, because this is not easy. Well, sure, I want to do this. So the point is that there were many reasons I wanted to go into ministry, but one of them was I really wanted to bring people in that inspire me and that I would think would inspire other people. And so I was watching Don Jose talk, and we were all so inspired. And I remember I was thinking, oh yeah, I made this up. This was one of my ideas. And so we have to notice the things that are already working. We have to notice where we have created amazing things in our life, friends and experiences and jobs and wonderful things. Y'all keep creating this community. This community doesn't happen without you all, and you all, they're online. This is how it works. Then one of the sayings she has is obedience, the obedience one. Obedience precedes authority. It's a big one to breathe in, right? Obedience to the law. She uses the word Lord as law. Thank you for this day, and this is the day the Lord has made. This is the day that the law of life has made. The law of nature. So obedience. So the point is that we obey these laws, and because it's like the law of gravity. You can try to break it, but kind of got its way. Florence has affirmations at the end of the book that you can use to obey the law. So, Jesus said, there will be tribulation. Tribulation will happen in life, but I have overcome the world. So the idea is that, yes, you're going to have those moments like blue yoga. Like, oh, the Christmas bill came. Why did I buy that Vitamix? Who talked me into that, right? And so, but the next thing you'll say is, I like my Vitamix, however it is, even if it is bananas and peanut butter. But so in the world you will have tribulation, but be of good cheer. I have overcome the world. So I'd like to celebrate a man that is very well known in Chicago, Mr. Cub. Right, Ernie Banks, who made his transition, and many of you have talked to me about him, and one of you sent me a wonderful film, and Ernie Banks is playing the game of life. He is 100% a winner, and I'd like us to look at how he is talking about the same truth that sets us free.
You just got to play hard and believe. You got to believe. If you don't, you're lost.
Play ball!
The team goes 39 years without making the playoffs.
There are many years when they've been awful. There's many years when the people running the organization didn't understand the ballpark or didn't understand how to put a baseball team together. There was a year when they didn't draft anybody. There were many years when things didn't go particularly well, and yes, they did have bad luck.
Shining light during these dark days is the joyful spirit of one of the greatest players to ever put on a Cubs uniform.
Ernie Banks is, he's Mr. Cub.
Yeah, he was the embodiment of the spirit of the Cubs. he was always wiggling his fingers up to the last moment, and then he had that little hitch in his giddy-up right before he swung.
That guy is unreplaceable. You know, people like that come along once in a lifetime.
He was undaunted and unfazed by a lot of losing. He was 2 consecutive MVP awards in the late 50s on a losing team, which is a tribute to just how good he was.
Left back, that's it, hey, he did it, Ernie Banks got number 500, everybody on your feet, this is it.
This is what I want to do. This is what I love to do. I would do this for nothing. I don't know why they paying me to do this. And I still don't. If you can maintain a positive mental attitude, somehow, some way, your life become magical.
What your life can truly be. Shining star for you to say what your life can truly be.
Woo! Love this guy. All right. Another Unity student, right? I mean, how fun is that? You know, just hold that positivity. And that's what we'll do in our meditation. I will tell you, I looked at an old interview of Ernie Banks last night, and they said, what's the secret, Ernie? Everybody loves you. You're like a legend everywhere. And he says, what's the secret? He said, it was a lot of focus. I loved the game. It was a lot of focus. And he said, but most importantly, I learned how to relax. So let's relax into our superconscious, my friends, and allow this Super Bowl of your life to be an incredible game. And you are always a winner. So let's sit back in your chair and recognize that we're breathing in a new breath at every moment. We're shedding a new skin if we're willing. And we all said we're willing to change. So we are that shining star. And if you think of you being born as this unrepeatable, irreplaceable creation of divinity, it may help you recognize, like Ernie, that we don't have to be distracted by what's around us. We are the most valuable player in the game of our life. And it's so important. In fact, it's essential for us to focus there. So I invite you to relax into a space of gratitude. Allow your super consciousness to wake up. And I'd like you to infuse your body temple with a talent that is yours. Something that you just love, that, like Ernie, I can't believe they paid me to do this. I can't believe how fun it is to be me. And allow that idea, whether it's cooking or painting or singing or walking or taking pictures or anything that feels just so fun. Life is a game. You have everything you need for it to be so fun. And to know that you are the way God wakes up in the world. God sleeps in the rocks and grows in the plants and moves around in the animals, but awakens in human beings. So let's allow that awakening to happen right here and right now. Christ in you, the hope of glory. We allow Peter's music to guide us as we keep breathing in. This is my gift. This is my gift. This is my gift. Lightness, you can visualize taking off, maybe unzipping from the top of your head a skin that is anything about lack or limitation or separation, and just unzipping this skin. Oh, it's got an inside handle on it. And you just allow it to completely unzip and take it off. Let it just fall to the ground and let this swirly, whirly day just sweep it away lightly, just like the snow. And keep breathing into, this is my gift. This is my talent. This is why I am born. To be part of the divine design. Here to be what no one else can be, and I am here to do what no one else can do. And I am a winner 100% of the time. And I invite us in our singing meditation to sing You Are the Face of God. We'll sing it once. Sing it 4 times all together. But I just want you to keep your eyes closed and allow this to be an experience for you.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
And I invite you to consider a person that, or a situation that feels very easy for you. And infuse your body with that person, that thought, that peacefulness, and let's sing You Are the Face of God twice. Sorry.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
So we breathe in, feeling so grateful for that easy, peaceful situation. We all have one. We all have a pet or a person or a situation in the world that feels really good to you. Could be snow. It's so fun to think of and hold that in your mind. And with that power of pure bliss, let's step into this moment of covering that next experience with that bliss, with that love. And I'd like you to bring to mind a situation that maybe feels challenging, or a person that doesn't feel that you don't feel that sense of agreement with, or a situation in the world that just feels a little not connected to you. And with that super consciousness, let's give this experience all the love that you have.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
And now, last but not least, the love of your life, and that would be you. And picture yourself in any stage of your life. You may want to sing to that teenager that maybe didn't feel accepted in life, or at any age that you feel like it might have just been a tough time. And let's sing that you are the face of God to that soul of perfection that is you.
You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God. You are the face of God. I hold you in my heart. You are a part of me. You are the face of God.
Now we breathe into that beautiful energy of casting that burden, taking off that skin, and knowing that this kind of enlightenment is available to us in every breath, in every moment, in every step. So grateful to be in this community that absolutely invites us to awaken and doesn't allow us to hide. So thank you, Spirit, for all the years and all the people that have come into Unity in Chicago, and that we are part of that legacy, and we are awakening right here and right now. And so it is. And we welcome our chaplains.
We relax into this beautiful prayer energy on this beautiful, silent Sunday morning. I invite you to speak the names of those you would like held in prayer. And as we hold those images of those that we hold as the face of God in our lives, we continue this week to live the game of life, to live the Super Bowl of our lives, knowing that it's as much fun to enjoy the human race, more fun, in fact, than to try and win it. We release all the prayers held on all the hearts in this room this morning, and we say, thank you, God. And so it is. Amen. In this moment this morning, we hold all of our beautiful community in our thoughts and prayers, and we hold our beloved community, our minister, our board, our staff, and our volunteers in our powerful prayer energy. We bless each and every one of them. May our peace and oneness bless our brothers and sisters all around the world. Thank you, God, for prayers already answered. Amen. We are your prayer chaplains this morning, and there's a good ratio, so come and pray with us. This is Gabby, Diane, and I'm Jill. We're here to honor your celebrations of prayer, as well as anything that may be on your heart that you would like prayer support with. We will also answer prayers that are submitted through the website. We are available for that. And we also bless the prayer box, any prayers that you write and put in there. And those are held in prayer and then sent to Silent Unity. And if you would like to have someone prayed for by the chaplain team, if you will contact the church, attention the lovely Jay Hand, she will get that information to the prayer chaplains, and we will hold you in our prayer energy. Thank you for being here.
And prayer is obviously a very clear super consciousness connection. So do take time to be with our prayer chaplains. And if you all don't know, it's just a hard left, and then you run into soft people. Hard right. I'm so sorry. It's a hard right. Okay. That's it. See, my joke got me off my directions. All right. Okay. So I know you people at home are wondering, how can I have a prosperity blessing today? Well, friends, you just hit that donate button and just allow yourself to be in the flow with all of us here. All right, so the big deal with flow, our writer, and the big deal with being in the flow is that we recognize where we've received. So where you receive is such a blessing, and you allow it to happen, and then we give, so we stay, we keep it moving. That's the whole point. So we love that, you all being part of Unity in Chicago. Keep lights on, keep musicians here, keep all the things, plumbing going, and everything else that happens around here. Our plowers this morning, we pay for them too. Yay! All right, so if you'll hold one of many channels of good in your hand, let's just infuse it with the face of God that is you, with that super consciousness that knows that we can't outgive God and we can't hide from God. We can't sort of play small in this life. We're here to play our Super Bowl. And giving and opening that space for something new and amazing to happen is the way that it keeps working. So, infusing it with the beauty of you, and let's say together our conscious giving blessing. Divine love flowing through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive, and so it is.
Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful. Gratitude before me, gratitude behind me, Gratitude to the left of me, gratitude to the right of me, gratitude above me, gratitude below me, gratitude within me, gratitude all around me. I'm so grateful, 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 I'm so grateful.
And Gretchen Goodrich, we are grateful for you. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. Oh, wow. A bunch of goddesses here. All right. Okay, so we just breathe into that super consciousness of giving, that sense of I have the overflowing cup. I just give because it is my nature to give. It's my nature to receive. I am abundance in action. Let's say that. I am abundance in action. And then let's say our conscious giving blessing. We are grateful for these gifts of faith and love. We are recognize that these are signs of our prosperity and highest good. We affirm God is in action right here and right now. Amen. Thank you, thank you. Beautiful. All right, Brian Fallon with announcements. Yay!
Thank you. So, first announcement about today's flowers. Today's flowers are dedicated to Reverend Heidi from the staff. Promise I'll give it back. To Reverend Heidi, for your dedication, your perseverance, your incredible unending energy, for being ever genuine no matter the circumstance, for listening to every voice and considering all ideas, for your wonderfully delicious sense of humor, for showing trust and respect for all who work for you or with you, for giving seemingly unending amounts of your time to our community, and for loving us. These flowers are dedicated to you with love, gratitude, and affection from the staff.
It's a raise.
I was going to say, that's a really big corsage. Just a couple of announcements to update you on a few things that are upcoming. The Planetary Meditation for Peace and Pranic Healing is offered today at 1:15, and that's in the library, which is downstairs. A free heart chakra meditation is being offered today in the Oak Room following both services. This is an introduction to the secrets of the Depths workshop, which begins this Monday. If you don't know where the Oak Room is, it's on that end of the building. Go that end of the Sunshine Gallery, and there's a little set of stairs. Make a hard left. Our monthly Abraham group also meets this Monday evening. The Empowerment Circle begins this Wednesday, and you can get more information about both of these offerings in the gallery today. In celebration of African American Heritage Month, our cafe this will feature Soul Food Wednesdays throughout the month of February. Check out this week's menu in your bulletins. And during our Wednesday evening service, Reverend Heidi will invite Roger Lott, is that correct? Roger Lott, to the platform as our Getting to Know You guest. Roger is well respected in the dog rescue shelter and training community in Chicago. Through his dog scent training, he's able to help dogs and their owners bond and blossom. Roger will also be Reverend Heidi's guest on her radio show, Let's Get Naked, Revealing Your Authentic Self, which will air live Monday at 3 on unity.fm. And you can also tune in later at unitychicago.org. A celebration of life service will be held for our beloved Unity member Angelo Alombre next Sunday at 2 p.m., so please join us for that. And a reminder that and that's at 2:30 p.m. And a reminder you can register for activities online at our Easy Tithe kiosk in the gallery or at the Wings of Prosperity table in there. Stay connected via the website and Facebook. We would like to welcome those of you brave souls who may be here with us for the first time through the frozen tundra. So if you are here with us for the first time today, could you raise your hand with me so our ushers can find you? We have a small gift right in the back row there. We like to say that there are no accidents and that you've ended up here by following your divine appointment book, and you actually put in extra effort, so you get lots of points. So along with that flower, we have a team of people downstairs that would like to answer any questions you might have, or you could just get James to answer them. He's pretty good too. And we also have a welcome CD for you, so please come downstairs. We'd love to get to know you more. And that covers announcements. I know you're disappointed that they're over so quickly, but they end on a really good note. Nancy Erickson.
Can't you feel it in your bones? A change is coming on from every walk of life. People are seeing the light. Can't you feel it in your heart now? A new thing is taking shape. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Hey, what about you, my friend? Anytime you can, come on in. Live the united way. We're gonna make a new day. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. All right, guys. Of others, they're just like you. Reach out and touch a hand. Yo, make a friend if you can. Every day people are waking up to the need for one another. We're all on our way to make the world a new place. Reach out and touch a hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch your hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch your hand. Make a friend if you can. Reach out and touch your hand. Make a friend if you can.
Super Bowl. Thank you so much. Running and talking and singing. Oh my gosh. So we're going to celebrate our kids that we know are always winners, and they've made a big banner to run through because we know, right, Super Bowl, Super Life, they're winners, and they drew all over this thing. I am a winner. Can we say that together? Okay, we'll say it once they get up here. Okay, so we got some music. They're running through it. Okay, Gloria, you got to speak this way. Oh, here they come. Oh! Go team. All right, very good. my gosh, you didn't break your affirmation. I'm impressed. All right, Marilyn, thank you for, yes, we can see we all should have had this today with our super. Do you want to save the prayer for protection? Sure. Do you want to? Okay. So hold on one moment. We're going to get everyone to say the affirmation together, and you all can help lead us. So it says, my super conscience creates my super life. Can we say that together? My super conscience creates my super life. I am always a winner. Can we say it? I am always a winner. Yes, very good. All right. So you all are going to, and your name again is? Julian's going to lead us in the prayer for protection after we sing. You know what? It'll come. You'll turn it on one. See, he protects us from saying silly things. But we know you're saying the prayer for protection, so he'll turn it right up. All right, so we can all rise, and we'll weave ourselves together and go out in this world knowing you have a super life to lead. You're in charge.
Protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are,